So, you have a limited budget, but you want to start investing in cryptocurrencies? I think this video is definitely for you. For beginner investors, the crypto market is certainly attractive for several reasons. Firstly, it allows you to invest even very small amounts, because with a small budget, you can't get into real estate. The stock market is okay, but if you don't have a lot of money in your account, don't expect it to change your life in any significant way, because at least in the cryptocurrency market, there's that chance. Of course, you can choose good stocks. You can beat the market average, which is, for example, a 10% extension on the S&P, but it still won't be a windfall. And crypto, if we play it right, if we time it well, offers higher returns. And, of course, it's more volatile, it's riskier. But due to its investment potential, it can definitely be an interesting path for people with small capital. Secondly, for small investors, cryptocurrencies can be a way to learn and gain experience in investing, because with low initial amounts, one can minimize financial risk while simultaneously learning market mechanisms and strategies that work in practice and become resilient to those large market fluctuations. Crypto, which later, for example, when we experience fluctuations in traditional markets, no longer makes such an impression on us. And this movie title will likely attract many new and less experienced people here who want to start their adventure with cryptocurrencies. But remember, whether you're investing small or large amounts here, it's worth sticking to certain strict diversification rules, which will help you develop valuable habits for years to come. And some people skip investing in Bitcoin or even Ethereum because they believe these cryptocurrencies are already too big and won't earn them as much. I partly agree. It's true because smaller altcoins indeed have greater growth potential. But most people forget that they are also much riskier than Bitcoin or ETH. Therefore, even if I had a small capital or a very small one, I'm talking about a few hundred or a few thousand zloty still. The foundation of my portfolio would be Bitcoin and Ethereum, even if I were starting now, because I believe that these two cryptocurrencies will be with us for years. And of course, I also intend to invest in other altcoins to take advantage of the current bull market. But, well, I want to do it to the max, of course. And then I put Bitcoin and Ethereum into a different shopping basket. So it would simply be a long-term basket, a very long-term one. For a good reason. Investors from traditional markets have been able to buy Bitcoin and ETH through ETFs for many months now, offered by the largest investment funds in the world. So these two positions, even if I don't want to play the cryptocurrency market on a cyclical scale, I can definitely keep buying over the next 5 or 10 years. And finally, trying to accumulate them every month with small amounts like this. For example, you have a full-time job, earning 4,000 PLN, 7,000 PLN, 12,000 PLN, and you want to invest. For instance, 10% of that every month, right? So you have 500 PLN, 700 PLN, or 1,200 PLN, and you buy half Bitcoin and half Ethereum. But you wait each month for some correction, for some drop. You simply watch for when these cryptocurrencies dip a little. You buy on the dip, all right. You got it. The next month, you try to repeat this. If you can't manage to buy during a correction, no worries, you buy neutrally, or you leave those funds for the next month to purchase more during another crash. And in this way, you don't have to worry about any cycles, because in the long term, you'll accumulate enough ETH and BTC so that, when the market revives, even buying in individual months higher than the current later valuation, and still make a profit, because regularly buying during corrections averages out your price beautifully. So, simply put, most people who enter this market have misconceptions about certain things. If you are not actively trading, I wouldn't recommend buying altcoins solely to make as much money as possible, especially if you have small amounts. For example, beginners often only look at the price and not at the project's market capitalization. And if the token's price has several zeros after the decimal point, new players automatically think it's a good choice because the token is super cheap, so they can buy millions or even billions of units for little money. And unfortunately, this is just an illusion. It's deceptive. It doesn't work that way. Because investing your capital in some shitcoins or new projects won't suddenly make you rich. In crypto, you need to learn everything from the basics, understand the mechanisms that drive this market, and incorporate them into your strategy. You also need to remember that this is a place where we can multiply the money we've earned in real life. So it's not about getting rich in the cryptocurrency market, but first you need to start earning or saving money in real life, so to speak. Do this as often, as much, and as densely as possible, and then multiply it in the cryptocurrency market. But don't expect to change your life and magically get rich from crypto. It's much easier to reach a level where you earn 15 to 20,000 zlotys per month in life. You invest in crypto for 5 to 10 months. Keep investing for 2 to 3 years. You have 300,000 zlotys in this market. You multiply it by 4, and you have over 1 million, right? And it's much harder to earn. 500. 500 zlotys a month or 1,000. And over 3 years invest 20 to 30,000. and turn that into 1 million. So it's almost impossible. Being a newcomer in the cryptocurrency market, that's the truth. So, of course, there are prospects here, but to play out this cycle perfectly, where so many things can just go wrong along the way, well, I would really try. First, to increase earnings 2, 3, 4 times and invest safely. Later, because you have more capital, which naturally accumulates. That's why I personally believe that playing the market cycles on a cyclical scale is something great. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's Bitcoin. From halving to halving, it moves in a fairly similar pattern, a similar kind of model. The point is that at the moment of the halving, which is an event that makes Bitcoin twice as hard to mine, as if the difficulty is halved, making it twice as hard, then, usually, from 6 to 8 months later, after this halving, the price of Bitcoin breaks out of consolidation and starts to rise significantly. We had the halving just now, 8 months ago. Roughly, and indeed, as you can see, for the past month, month and a half, 2 months, Bitcoin has been rising significantly. At the same time, altcoins also start to rise. Then we have a cycle. For example, it is currently estimated that the peak of this bull market might be in the third quarter of 2025, followed by roughly a year of declines. And then we have about a year of slow recovery, and the cycle loops, giving us a full 4 years. Thus, by playing it correctly, which has often proven true over the years, we can indeed earn even more. So, this market will definitely teach humility to anyone who thinks they can just enter and suddenly start living off it. Yes, of course, there are people who live solely off the market, but they are truly a fraction of all investors and traders in this space. Maybe some of you will also live solely off the market one day, and I wish you that. But seriously, at the very beginning, come back down to earth, ground yourself a bit, take off your shoes, walk on the grass. I'm joking, but just start with the basics of investing in crypto, and that's it. Right, listen, if we have this introduction behind us, let's get to the point. So it won't be a surprise if I mention Bitcoin in the first place as a cryptocurrency worth accumulating, even in small amounts. And, about this asset, a lot has already been said on my channel. You'll definitely find it. The statistics are relentless, and I'm speaking clearly. For a decade, Bitcoin has had no equal in terms of returns. At the beginning, no one took Bitcoin seriously. It was treated as a technological curiosity for nerds. Then it was predicted to die hundreds of times. And today, the world's largest institutions are accumulating Bitcoin, and governments will establish it as their currency reserves. Since 2015, Bitcoin has been the best performing asset class in the world. In the last 10 years, it only lagged behind other assets twice, in 2018 and 2022, which were its bear market years. And regular investing in Bitcoin can be considered a way to save for retirement. You can regularly invest small amounts, for example, every 2 weeks or every month, regardless of the price, using the DCA method. And this allows me not only to effectively multiply wealth over time, but it beats most, if not all, other investment methods. Assuming a safe, growing return rate for Bitcoin at 10%, hypothetically, right? Roughly speaking, by saving an example amount of 100 PLN per month, over 10 years I could have a wealth of over 23,000 PLN. And what else can you invest in? Small amounts? In altcoins. They are riskier, but they offer higher returns. Sometimes, but not always. At least, some of them do offer. But if we look at the top 100, currently less than half of the altcoins have outperformed Bitcoin in returns over the last 90 days. Recently, there was a situation where over 84 or 86 tokens consistently outperformed those returns. We had an alt season, but it's periodic. So if we don't have the time to constantly check and sell crypto at the right moment, and we don't know much about it, it's better to go with Bitcoin or Ethereum. But exactly, speaking of ETH, here I would choose it as the second option. Definitely that one, because it's not only the second largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, but it's also a representative of the entire altcoin market. It's also the least volatile, generally speaking. So if you want to invest in inherently risky and highly volatile altcoins, this is at least the safest choice among them. And I'll tell you right away, estimating a constant annual rate of return from investing in ETH is difficult. It's been on the market since 2015. It's young, relatively speaking, for an asset, globally. Here, you also have a table of annual returns from ETH since its inception, and these values really vary. But generally, the annual rate of return from ETH is currently huge, unattainable for traditional markets. And of course, I assume it will decrease over time. Ethereum will become less volatile, but it should still guarantee me substantial returns if I were to invest small amounts in it. Regularly, every month, for example, over several years. And now let's consider different scenarios. From conservative to optimistic. Here is a chart, right in front of you, showing the value of the portfolio after 10 years of regular investing. 100 PLN per month in Ethereum at different annual rates of return, 20, 30, 40%. And those 100 PLN per month, This is a joke, but for the sake of calculation, you can multiply it by the amount you're investing. And, with a moderate annual return rate of 20%, the portfolio value after 10 years is approximately 37,600 PLN, which is more than a threefold increase compared to the 12,000 deposited, demonstrating the power of compound interest. With an annual return rate of 30%, the portfolio will reach a value of 73,400 PLN, which is already a six-fold return on the invested funds. With a high rate of around 40% annually over a period of 10 years, the portfolio value amounts to 452 PLN. And of course, it is taken into account here that part of the funds is invested at the beginning and part at the end. This is calculated just as it should be. So the numbers speak for themselves. For me, it's simply worth investing small amounts in Ethereum to increase my wealth, so I'm betting on this altcoin. But why else am I bullish on Ethereum? Well, there are only 120 million units worldwide. This asset, after its update, in September 2022, it became deflationary. Such a mechanism is not known in the world of traditional finance, and in crypto, few altcoins are deflationary, at least periodically, like Ethereum. It has been this way for 2 years. Thanks to the transaction fee burning mechanism, more Ether is destroyed than issued, which increases its scarcity. And such unique features can positively impact long-term value, making Ethereum attractive compared to traditional financial assets. Of course, it's not always like that. It depends on network activity, on how much various kinds of, activity there is, and so on. But that's how it looks. Furthermore, it's worth noting that Ethereum is a well-functioning business. It has a market capitalization of almost $500 billion, which is 400 billion and some change. That's more than Bank of America. Ethereum is not only the largest of the altcoins, it is also the heart of DeFi, and this entire ecosystem serves an extremely important utility because thanks to the security and decentralization of this network, decentralized finance is created. As much as 55% of the entire value of this market worldwide is located on Ethereum, and it is also home to most of the stablecoins on the market, which indicates deep investor trust in this network. And perhaps some of you are not aware that the recently popular tokenized assets are most often created on Ethereum. The RWA market is one of the hottest niches of this bull market. Companies like BlackRock with their tokenization fund, BUIDL, or Ondo, and Franklin Templeton all have something in common. They have all placed their trust in Ethereum by offering their services on this blockchain. If such large entities are investing huge capital here, then why couldn't I dedicate my amount, for example, 500 PLN per month, to long-term investing in Ethereum? Because seriously, Ethereum and Bitcoin form the core of my investment portfolio. Now I even have more Ethereum because I expected to achieve greater profits in 2025 in Bitcoin. And I invest not only small amounts, but I do it long-term from time to time, when there are corrections or when I determine in a given cycle that the value is already at its maximum. I aim to multiply my capital and not take excessive risks in the crypto market. I estimate that by the end of 2025, Bitcoin will cost between $100,000 to $200,000 and Ethereum between $6,000 to $8,000. And that's what I'm betting on. That's what I'm sticking to. So that's all from me. Listen, I wish you all the best for the holidays and subscribe to the channel because you need to reach 100,000.